Hello students, welcome back. Let us continue with the chapter Why Do We Fall Ill? In the previous class we studied about the definition of health and disease and differentiated between two, and we also studied the various factors which stops us from being healthy, that is maybe your community health, that will be your economic status, your social well-being, etc., or the way we get a disease. Okay, now let us see what are the causes of disease, the actual things by which we get a disease. We just learned how can we detect a disease, like based on symptoms, okay, that is felt by the patient, or the signs which the doctor asks and get it, and particularly he names the disease. Now let us see what are the actual causes of disease. Okay, now causes of disease can be of two types. It can be either extrinsic or intrinsic. Okay, now extrinsic includes external factors. Okay, external factors which makes us ill, and intrinsic includes internal factors which makes us ill. Let us study both external factor as well as the internal factors which makes us ill. Okay, the first external factor being the organisms. Okay, you can get a disease if an external organism enters your body. So the microorganisms are one of the external factors which cause you the disease. Now what are the different microorganisms which we have studied? They are bacteria, virus, protozoas, algae and fungus or fungi. So these are the all microorganisms which we have studied. So the microorganisms can bring about the disease. Okay, this is one of the external factor. Let us go to the next external factor, that is your environment. Okay, too hot season, what happens? You get dehydration. Okay, and in too cold season you get easily fever and you catch cold very easily. So environment is also one of the external factor which may cause you a disease. Okay, so the first one microorganism, the second one environmental factor, the next is your diet. Okay, if you eat more amount of junk food, if your daily diet includes more amount of junk food, then you are susceptible to more amount of disease, whereas if you eat homemade healthy food, then you get less amount of disease. It is said like that. So your diet is also one of the external factor which will say whether you are or you can have a disease or not. So you have microorganism, diet, environmental factors, and the last one being consumption of tobacco, alcohol and cigarette. Okay, or you can even add drugs. Okay, so these all are the external factors which can make you ill. This is one of the cause. Okay, so extrinsic cause is nothing but your external factor being microorganism, diet, environmental factor, or consumption, high consumption of tobacco, alcohol and drugs. Let us see the intrinsic factor internally. Okay, it may happen that your particular body part, because of this external factors, is not working well. So that becomes one of your intrinsic factor. Okay, so first is your body parts. This is one of the intrinsic factor. The next one being, it can be like genetically the child have got that particular disease. So the intrinsic factor, the another one is genetic disorder. Okay, before the birth only the gene must have got changed, and as a result what happened, the child suffers from the disease. Okay, and the next one is due to the external factor like environment and all. If you eat too much amount of cold thing, what happen? You feel feverish or you have cold, and because of that your immune system, okay, that is the system which helps you to recover, will not work well. So immune system or working of an immune system in proper way and not proper way is also one form by which you can get a disease. So these are the intrinsic factor and these are the extrinsic factor. What are extrinsic factor? The external factor which can make me ill or can give me a disease, and intrinsic factors comes from my body itself. Okay. Now the causes of disease majorly based on this can be divided into a immediate cause and a contributory cause. Okay. These all factors can bring a immediate cause, like a person is suffering from loose motion. Okay. So what do you say? He is suffering from diarrhea. Why do he is suffering from diarrhea? You do not ask them, or you do not ask the person, you directly say he suffers from diarrhea. Okay. So you can have again causes of disease based on the external and internal factor. You say that the causes can be either immediate or contributory. Now to explain this, let me give you an example. At a particular place there are two children which are born, okay, at two different houses, but they stay in the same society. Okay. Now one child gets loose motions and the other is not getting the same. Fine. Now what will be the cause of that loose motion or diarrhea? What do the person say? In the child you say that either a bacteria or a virus or the microorganism have caused the disease. So your immediate cause generally is the microorganism. Okay. Fine. Now I said there are two child. There will be a question, when both the child are born together, then why only one is suffering from a particular disease and other is not suffering? Okay. It may happen here, that is a microorganism. Now microorganism, if it is have been entered the body, it have entered both the bodies because both the child living is same. They are living in the same society, okay, nearby houses, and the same drinking water, same kind of food you give, they are feeding on mother's milk. So what is the problem? So the another thing, how did the microorganism enter their body becomes their contributory cause. Okay. So the contributory cause can be again of two ways. Fine. The contributory cause, the first contributory cause will be maybe the drinking water is not clear. Okay, maybe you cannot talk about the food over there. Why? But you can talk about the mother's health, right? Why? Because the child is feeding on the mother's milk. So if both the mothers are well, then both are not suffering from any diseases. So once that is done, the mother thing gets eliminated. So the mother is well, both mothers are well, so the disease have not went from mother to the child. The other thing which the child takes is water, right? Or the sanitation which is nearby, the house surrounding. The house surrounding may be not well, or the clean drinking water may not be available. Okay. So this will be the contributory cause, the second step. The microorganism entered the body, maybe due to the water. Okay. That is the only way by which it can enter, because we are talking here about a child, a newborn baby. Now the water, the same water, clean drinking water, since they are staying in the same society, the same clean drinking water is going to one house and the another house. So what may be the difference? The difference here come because of the social well-being. Okay. It may happen that one child, the home cleanliness is maintained very neatly. The places or the pots where the water is kept, it is cleaned daily, okay, or the water is boiled, or it is they are having a filter at home, and so on. And it may happen in the next home, they are using the same water directly. So it may happen what? That the contaminated microorganism may enter the child body. So here the contributory cause, second part, becomes the social well-being. Okay. So the first cause for any disease is generally the microorganism, that is the external factor, or internal factor if it is a genetic disorder or an immune system which becomes low. Okay. The next cause will be how did that external or the intrinsic factor enter the body, was able to invest the body, that may be due to over here in water. In our case, since we are adult, it may be food, it may be air, it may be the people which we meet, and so on. And how did that water get contaminated? It may be that the water is coming contaminated only, but being socially well and being clean, okay, that is your personal hygiene, is also one of the factor or causes of the disease. So the disease cause may be either immediate cause or a contributory cause based on the factor. Okay. So what did we study today? We studied the causes of disease. The causes of disease, okay, can be based upon the factors. That may be either extrinsic, that is the external factor, being the microorganism, tobacco consumption, alcohol consumption, environmental factors and so on, or the intrinsic one like your health, okay, your immune system, fine, then your genetic disorders and so on. Now based on that you can divide the major causes between an immediate cause, that is the major thing, that is your microorganism, okay, any of the microorganism may cause that disease, or the contributory cause, that is how did that particular microorganism entered the body. Once it entered the body, why did it enter? What was the differences that make it entered in our body? Okay, if the same amount of drinking water we all friends drink, there are 5 friends and all drink the same water, but one catches a disease. So either it may be his immune system is not well, that's why his cold water was not being taken up by the body and the immune system made it low and he got or suffered from cold, or the other thing is that the bottle may not be clean. Okay, so it may be either the external factor or the intrinsic factor which will cause the disease, okay, and the causes can be either immediate or the contributory cause. Now in case of microorganism, how did it enter? First, how did it enter? Through water, through food, through air, and why did it enter? That is being social well or the cleanliness, the personal hygiene and so on. In the next lecture we will study the types of disease. Okay, thank you.
Hope this video increased your knowledge. For more such videos and a completely free educational content, log on to www.epathshala.org or visit our ePathshala YouTube channel. We have each and every question solved for maths, physics, chemistry and biology. So subscribe our channel, share with your friends, like our Facebook page and follow our Twitter handle for regular updates and important educational tips, and also win ePathshala goodies. So what are you waiting for? Subscribe this channel and enjoy the freedom of education.